If someone had told me a few years ago that reading would change my life, I wouldn't have believed them. But it did. It changed everything. I still remember the days when speaking English felt like an impossible task. I knew some words, but whenever I tried to speak, my mind went blank. My sentences felt broken, my pronunciation was poor, and I was terrified of making mistakes. I avoided conversations, especially in school, because I didn't want to embarrass myself. I admired those who spoke English fluently. They seemed so confident, while I felt small, stuck in my own fears. Even when I wanted to speak, my voice would shake, and I would end up saying nothing at all. I felt like I was being left behind while others moved ahead. It wasn't just about speaking English, it was about confidence, opportunities, and feeling capable in the world. I told myself, maybe English isn't for me. Maybe I will always struggle. But deep down, I wanted to change. I didn't want to feel this way forever. I wanted to be able to express myself freely. That's when I discovered something that would change my life forever. Reading. I still remember my school days when speaking English felt like the hardest thing in the world. Whenever the teacher asked a question in English, I would lower my head, hoping she wouldn't call my name. If I had to speak, my heart would start racing. My hands would get sweaty, and my mind would go completely blank. I avoided conversations in English as much as possible. If someone spoke to me, I would respond with short answers or just nod. I was terrified of making mistakes, of people laughing at my broken sentences and poor pronunciation. I saw my classmates speak fluently, answering questions confidently, and I wondered, why can't I be like them? The worst part was the self-doubt. I started believing that maybe I wasn't smart enough to learn English. Maybe I would always struggle. I felt like I was stuck while everyone else moved ahead. I wanted to participate, to express my thoughts, but the fear of saying something wrong held me back. It was frustrating. I knew that English was important for my future, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't gather the confidence to speak. I felt trapped in my own silence, wishing for a way out. One day, everything changed. It wasn't planned, and I wasn't expecting a miracle. I was sitting in the school library when my teacher walked by and placed a small book on my desk. It was a simple English storybook, nothing too complicated. She smiled and said, "Just try reading a few pages. Don't worry if you don't understand everything." At first, I hesitated. I had always believed that reading English books was too difficult for me, but something inside me told me to try. I opened the first page and started reading. The sentences were simple, but I still struggled. There were words I didn't understand, phrases that confused me, but I didn't stop. I read one page, then another. The more I read, the more I noticed something amazing. English wasn't just about memorizing grammar rules. It was about understanding how words connected naturally. I started recognizing common phrases, sentence structures, and new vocabulary. I kept a small notebook where I wrote down new words and their meanings. Reading became my secret weapon. Unlike speaking, there was no pressure, no fear of making mistakes. It was just me and the book, learning at my own pace. Little did I know, this small habit would completely transform my confidence and ability to speak English. After that first book, I couldn't stop. I started reading every day, storybooks, short articles, and even English subtitles while watching movies. At first, it was difficult, but I reminded myself that every word I read was bringing me closer to my goal. I carried a small notebook with me everywhere. Whenever I came across a new word, I wrote it down along with its meaning and a simple sentence using it. Every night, I would go through my notebook and try to use those words in my thoughts and conversations. The more I read, the more I understood how sentences were formed, how native speakers expressed themselves, and how words connected naturally. Then, something incredible happened. I started speaking without hesitation. At first, it was small things, like answering a question in class or ordering food in English. But as my confidence grew, I found myself speaking more fluently. I wasn't just memorizing words anymore. I was truly understanding the language. Reading had given me something more than just knowledge. It had given me confidence. I no longer feared making mistakes because I knew I was improving every day. What once felt impossible was now becoming natural, and I finally felt free to express myself in English. As my English improved, so did my life. I no longer sat silently in class, afraid to speak. Instead, I started participating in discussions, answering questions, and even helping others who struggled with English. My confidence soared, and for the first time I felt like I truly belonged. I also made new friends. Before, I avoided conversations because of my fear of speaking, but now I could communicate freely. I could share my thoughts, express my ideas, and connect with people in a way I never could before. Reading had not only improved my English, but had also changed my mindset. It made me realize that learning is a journey, and every small step counts. Beyond language, books opened my mind to new ideas, cultures, and perspectives. I became more curious, more knowledgeable, and more eager to grow. I wasn't just learning English anymore. I was developing as a person. Looking back, I feel incredibly proud of my journey. I used to believe that speaking English fluently was impossible for me, but now I know that with the right approach, anyone can do it. And so, I want to tell you, if I can do it, you can too. If you're struggling with English, just like I was, my advice to you is simple. Start reading. Don't wait for the perfect time or the perfect book. Begin with something easy, maybe a children's book, a short story, or even English subtitles while watching your favorite shows. The key is consistency. Even a few pages a day can make a huge difference. Read aloud to improve your pronunciation. Keep a small notebook to write down new words and try using them in your daily conversations. The more you expose yourself to English, the more natural it will feel. Remember, fluency doesn't come overnight, but every small effort brings you closer to your goal. Reading is not just about books, it's about opening doors to a new world. It gives you confidence, knowledge, and the power to express yourself freely. If I could transform my life through reading, so can you. If you found my story inspiring, don't forget to like this video, share it with others who might need motivation, and subscribe to the channel for more tips on learning English. Keep reading, keep learning, and watch how your life changes.